Hello everyone. So yesterday or day before yesterday, I received a comment on my video that I made, and the video was migrating to Jira Cloud. So basically, I mentioned in my video that you can migrate to other tools, and Jira is of course not really the only tool where you should think about migrating. I'm talking about Jira Cloud, and especially I made that video for people who are or organizations who are basically on Jira Server or Jira uh, Data Center, because Jira Data Center is definitely very expensive, and apart from the cost itself, uh, Jira Cloud is not really an option for many organizations. But there are other tools that you can look at. Now, in that video, I basically talked about the possibilities, and I also shared some examples. Now, I received a comment from someone who told me in the comment that number one, I didn't really go into the details, so I didn't really talk about how to migrate from Jira to GitHub or GitLab. Number two, uh, I was accused of being anti-Jira, and apart from that, I think that was it. So basically, I thought I'll probably elaborate on this, and I'll of course give you my response. So first of all, so to be honest, I receive this comment quite regularly, like anti Jira, or I talk things that are not really in favor of uh, of Jira. Now, just to give you some background, uh, before I give you my background, in case you're watching this video or if you are new to my channel, I have written books in Jira. I have paid video courses in Jira. I have been doing Jira consultation for the last 16, 17 years. And I, of course, have this YouTube channel where I have 1300 plus, I think 1300 something videos, all focused on Atlassian tools, or mostly focused on Jira Atlassian tools. I also have thousands of posts on the Atlassian community, and of course, I have a lot of content online. So I don't hate Jira at all. In fact, I love Jira. But at the same time, I love Jira because not because of the features, not because Jira is a wonderful tool. It is a great tool, but I love working on Jira. I love Jira because I was able to build my career around Atlassian tools, and it has worked really well for me. Now, just to give you some background, I have worked in big companies, I have worked in small companies, I have done freelancing. So I have been working for more than 20 years, and I never really liked working as a full-time employee for someone. So I was always, interested in doing something on my own. And when you're doing something on your own, you definitely build your own ways of managing work. And for me, project management was actually an area of my interest from the very beginning. Not because I wanted to learn project management, but because I had to. Because if you don't really have a system to manage your work, then you can't really scale up, you can't really grow, you can't really do a lot of work. So you always need a system if you're trying to do something, especially if you're in services. Now, I have in my life tried a lot of tools, open source based tools. I have tried MS Project. In fact, I am a Microsoft Project Server certified something. I guess I don't even remember the exact name, but I've used plenty of tools. And because I used plenty of tools, when I was given a given this responsibility to also deploy Jira in one big organization where I used to work many years ago, I of course didn't like it because because I was always into open source, I was given this responsibility of deploying Jira and of course roll it out for different tools, not tools, different teams. So initially I didn't like Jira, but at the same time, because I had that experience of other tools, I built my own tool. By the way, I also tried, apart from using open source based tools, I also built my own tool in Excel. I also built my own tool in Google Sheets, and I also built my own tool in PHP. I also built my own tool in Drupal. So I have plenty of experience when it comes to project management or tool-based approach, like how to use a tool to deliver something, how to use a tool to plan your work, how to use a tool to manage the capacity or resources. And when I started using Jira, I of course initially didn't like it because I spent just little bit time, and it was, I believe, Jira 4 or 5 when I started like properly deploying it. But slowly I started liking it, and when I started liking Jira, I realized the power of customizations, because in all the tools which I used in my past life, or in my like all the tools that I used, uh, I always reached a point where it was too difficult, especially when you are building your own tool. I built my own PHP based tool uh, of course, without using any framework. I tried building it in PHP. I also tried building it in some frameworks, but there is a limit of what you can do. And I like Jira because Jira was by design, and to be honest, even right now, fundamentally Jira, the way Jira works, has not really changed. So I love the idea of customization. I love the idea of schemes that you can apply to different projects, and it really worked for me because I was able to solve a lot of those problems very easily. I was able to create issue types and workflows and notifications, permissions, and a lot of those wonderful things that we all are using right now these days. But for me, it worked really well, and that is why I like Jira. Not because I, I mean, for me it was I learned Jira because I had to, but I was able to get the most out of it because I had that experience. And when I realized that yes, I know Jira really well, I can now, or I should now, because I always had that uh, from apart from my full-time job, I always wanted to do something on my own. So I thought, okay, let me also start doing like Jira consultancy, and I started doing it, and I was able to actually do it really well. I have done a lot of Jira work in the past, and one day one publisher approached me that we think you do something in Jira. Would you like to write a book? And for me, writing a book, although it took some time, the first version of mastering Jira, but I had a lot of content, because apart from when you're doing consultation around Atlassian tools, when you're doing training, coaching, when you're working with others, trying to solve their problem, trying to deliver, help them deliver using a tool like Jira, you of course have your notes and a lot of material. So I basically use that to write my book. So for me, Jira worked really well. Not because Jira is just a tool, not because Jira helped me uh, in my job, but I was able to build my entire career around it. And I also, because when you're trying to do something on your own, like running a business, earning money is your objective. I mean, by definition, business is supposed to be, you need to earn money, you should be earning money. And the way I was able to use Jira, it is great. It has been great for me. And that is why I still like Jira. I still love Jira. But at the same time, so I've given you my background, apart from answering those 2 points, like about the comment. Now, these days, if you're on LinkedIn or Twitter, or if you follow some online, communities, you will always find people saying great things about Atlassian tools, Jira. And usually you will find people, or I should say, usually these people are either from Atlassian. And if Atlassian is promoting Jira, nothing, it is actually a good thing. I mean, I totally agree with that, because if Atlassian is making Jira, it is their product, it is their tool, they have to sell it, they have to market it, and I totally agree with them. Of course, when it comes to marketing, usually marketing people are different, and they are not really always close to reality. They might not always be close to the customers, but still they are doing it, and it is great. And it also helps us as someone who is doing consultation around Atlassian tools. Now, the other group of people is basically partners. Now, again, partners are supposed to do it because that is what they should do, because they have to be in line with Atlassian. And you will never really find any partner saying openly anything against Jira. I mean, to be honest, Jira is a great tool, but not everything is perfect about Jira, and you can't really use Jira for each and every situation, for each and every use case, and that is where I bring uh, value, because I am an independent consultant, and I have worked with, by the way, top partners in the past, and I can tell you from my experience that whatever they are doing it because it is in their benefit. So if I'm making a video on let us say how to migrate away from Jira, or things that can be improved in Jira, or if I'm sharing my frustrations around Jira, uh, you should actually appreciate it, because I'm at least being honest. And I, I'm not really saying that we have to be honest, but I'm saying that I can be honest, because I'm not really bound by any agreement. I'm not really working for Atlassian or even any Atlassian partner companies. In fact, people who work in Atlassian, they are my friends. I know a lot of people there. Uh, Partners, of course, I know a lot of people there as well, like in different top partner companies. And I know a lot of people, because Atlassian, I mean, people who deal with Atlassian, and especially if you are doing something with Atlassian tools, you know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people, and I think we all respect each other. But at the same time, uh, I don't have to lie. I don't have to like force Jira on you, that use Jira. Jira can do all the wonderful things for you. I mean, for me as a consultant, I have to be transparent. It is it is part of my duty. It is part of my responsibility. Of course, when I work with my clients, that is also what I do with them. Sometimes I tell them, don't use Jira because it is not really the right tool for your use case. And it happens a lot with me, because people reach out to me and they ask me, okay, we want to use Jira, we want to do these wonderful things. And after spending some time with them, I straight away tell them, I don't really think Jira is the right tool for you, because Jira essentially is an issue tracker, which you can use for doing either project management or service management. But sometimes people try to use Jira for doing something weird, although you can. But uh, whenever it comes to deploying a tool or solving a problem, you should not really think about solving your immediate problem. You should also think about 6 months or 1 year down the line, whether I mean, of course, you might be able to use Jira today to do something, but it will cause you more problems. So use a tool which is more suitable. And sometimes it is not just about using the tool, but also doing something within Jira. Maybe you're already using Jira and you need to do something like special, some weird use case. And sometimes people try to use Jira for all the cases. Sometimes, to be honest, in some cases, it actually makes more sense to just stick with Excel sheet. For example, I think I made a video recently where I mentioned that if you're a small team, couple of people, and if you are working, I don't really think if I made a video on this topic, but I basically uh, I wanted to talk about a use case, and I'll probably elaborate and probably create a separate video. Let us say you are working with a strict deadline and you have a small team. So in some cases, when you have a small team and when you have a very strict deadline, you can and you should actually use Jira in like free form. Don't really bother too much about bureaucracy. Don't really bother too much about workflows. Just use a tool to dump everything that you need to do and then just deliver it. Something like an online spreadsheet. And I think nowadays, with the help of Jira Work Management, it can actually be done. I mean, Jira Work Management is quite good because the interface for doing something simple, it works. Although Jira Work Management has its own problems, because it is not really like Jira software where you can have multiple boards within one Jira software-based project. But what I'm trying to say here is that as an independent consultant, my responsibility, my job is to be honest, be transparent, and of course, help you with uh, those situations where Jira is not really the right tool. But that doesn't really mean that I don't like Jira. I am not really anti-Jira. In fact, it is exactly the opposite. I quite like Jira. I love Jira. Jira is great, and it has been great for me, for my situation, because I was able to do a lot of wonderful things with Jira. All right, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.